Hi, my name is Arturo Rodriguez. I am the bass player, songwriter of Reconstruction.
Joseph Rodriguez, drums, percussion, songwriting duo.
Out of a trio. Most of Reconstruction's influences range from everything from anything that we heard from our upbringing, from Latin to bebop to Motown, funk,
salsa,
Yep.
old school salsa. And basically the concept of Reconstruction was to see what it would sound like if Ray Barreto, Willie Colon, and Bad Brains got together to jam.
It was also like, it was also the first time that I know of four Puerto Ricans getting together. And this is a concept that started in the early 80s, actually, because that's when the original concept started, with four Puerto Ricans trying to play hardcore in the New York hardcore scene. So that's one of the first things that we accomplished, and we got that in there.
And why was that the route you wanted to take?
Well,
I think the freedom of the music probably was the thing that drew me to it. So you didn't have to be locked into this one thing. You had this freedom of expression. And then I always had in mind that if you could add congas and percussion to a hardcore song, it would be amazing.
And also, like, a very large thing with that as well was there was so many other people, other races and other bands. Like, for instance, we had the Bad Brains with the Rasa struggle with the hardcore. We had so many other white bands out there, talking about their struggle. You know what I mean? So we felt like we needed a voice in this scene, so we created our own. Liberation Day, it actually took a few years to get the whole concept together. It started out with writing individual songs, involving different struggles besides struggle of Puerto Ricans. We're dealing with police brutality. We're dealing with
Everyday life.
yeah, and the prison system and all that. But it seems like between not-for-profit and us, we seem to be writing more songs around our own Puerto Rican struggle, and the liberation of Puerto Rico. So we kind of turned that more into a concept album involving some of the other things, but the main concept was Puerto Rican struggle, and Puerto Rican liberation.
We originally decided on Liberation Day, and like the whole music in mind, it was more even liberating ourselves in our own minds and having people connect with that so they can liberate their own minds. And I think just like I said, the choice of music is just unlimited freedom to do whatever the hell we wanted. We weren't locked into a format, and we basically came up with our own format, and not-for-profit wrote the lyrics around what me and Artie were writing. So that worked out well.
It was started as a hardcore concept originally with percussion, but we were trying to figure out a way how to incorporate the percussion. This is one of our earliest ones too. I think we started we wrote Liberation Day in '95, if I'm not correct.
Yeah.
So this is when the band took a turn and said, okay, we want to incorporate percussion. We want to incorporate everything into a hardcore setting. So how do we do this? So.
And I think we even thought, when we were writing Liberation Day, we thought of how to incorporate merengue with hardcore.
Right.
And how would those two work? And it ended up being a merengue song that's hardcore.
Yeah. Once again,
that's
the
all it
harmonies.
is.
Yeah. There's a whole jazz part. The jazz influences. Like, me and Joe really love jazz horn lines, especially from the top of a jazz song. You know what I mean? Like
melodies.
Yeah. Like what's the original melody before they go on their tangents and do their solos? It's like we love that stuff. So we started incorporating how we write chord structures with horn lines. We have all type of horn lines in our heads. You know what I mean? And how can we make the guitar work? You know what I mean? Hence, I don't know if you know the history of bands, guitar players really dig our stuff.
And then of course the jazz is incorporated into the salsa. If you listen to Eddie Palmieri, Ray Barreto, Willie Colon, they have plenty of jazz riffs and jazz piano and McCoy Tyners and Coltrane. So that all worked together, and it was easily to be influenced by that.
Yeah, and hence the lyrics too. And once the lyrics came apart, you know, that God Not For Profit was just right on it. You know what I mean? So I think that was our first song. And I think that's what liberated us.
That
It was
opened
perfect.
up everything else.
Yeah, it was perfect.